So you have high blood pressure and you have been told to go on a low sodium diet. You could be throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Today, I'm going to share with you the negative effects of a low salt diet and what you should do instead. I'm Dr. Jake. I'm a naturopathic medical doctor and integrative physician. On this channel, I share with you how you can heal your body down to the root causes without any harmful drugs or surgery. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. Okay, let's jump in. The prevailing belief behind sodium and hypertension is that if you eat a low sodium diet, your blood pressure is going to be good. Or if you have high blood pressure, your blood pressure is going to decrease to a level that is healthy. So, is there any truth to prevailing myth that salt actually increases blood pressure? Yes and no. There is research on it, but it's not as powerful of research as you might seem because of what's actually shared in the media, in our politics, and from doctors. So let's really dive into the research. Let's first talk about one major research article that was done in 20 plus countries and several different ethnicities, races, and cultures. And what they were doing is they tracked people, how much salt that they were taking in these regions, and they looked at their blood pressure. So in this study, majority of the cultures and countries did not see much of a difference at all. They saw maybe zero 0.9 to 3 millimeters of mercury improvement on your blood pressure. So to put that in layman terms, that means, let's say you had a blood pressure of 130 over 85. A low sodium diet will decrease your blood pressure to 127 over 84. That is not going to help benefit your heart, prevent you from a stroke or aneurysm, or support help your kidneys. But that's not what the media says. Oh, you follow a low sodium diet, your blood pressure is going to go down. Or you talk to doctors, they're like, oh, you have high blood pressure. Yeah, it'd probably be a good idea to keep your sodium below 1,200 milligrams a day, which is hardly any type of salt at all. And then we're leaving out all the possible health detriments that come from that. So, yeah, there is truth to it. It will decrease your blood pressure. It will help decrease the blood pressure in certain ethnicities more than others. Based on this study, they checked it on Africans and they showed that it actually showed a 9 or 10 millimeter per mercury improvement. But this was a place that was eating a high amount of salt and they had very low basal BMI. So they were really skinny, meaning they had a very high amount of salt compared to their weight. And that was maybe a piece to it too. But also what we're seeing in African Americans, that they have more of a propensity to be salt sensitive than other cultures. But I don't see that very often in that population group, but there is research supporting that. What are the negative effects of actually following a low sodium diet? So let's dive into this. What's interesting is we follow the low sodium diet to decrease our blood pressure, and the big reason why we do that is we want to prevent heart attack or stroke. But when you actually look into the research, okay, it decreases blood pressure a little bit, but when you look at the research, a low sodium diet actually increases your risk of heart attack. That's really interesting, right? It increases your risk of heart attack. And this makes complete sense because you need sodium and chloride for your heart to work appropriately. For every tiny little system, for our body to send electrical impulses to communicate how our heart pumps is through sodium, chloride, potassium, and magnesium, our electrolytes. So if we get way too little amount of salt, that's going to affect how our heart works, how it pumps, how it sends blood throughout. It causes more turbulation in there and more possibility for a heart attack or stroke in the future. What's also interesting is we think, oh, low sodium diet is good for heart disease, but it's just a healthy thing to do. When we see it, it actually is not good for diabetes either. It actually affects insulin sensitivity and increases insulin production in response to following a low sodium diet. So it increases your risk of getting diabetes. Also, we see in the research that it increases your LDL and cholesterol production and decreases HDL. That is going to increase your risk of a heart attack and stroke when you have too high of LDL and cholesterol production. So it's definitely not good for your heart. And that's what most people are prescribing the low sodium diet for, is for heart health. But all it does is decrease your blood pressure a minute amount and doesn't help the heart in general. So actually taking a pure, unrefined salt that has sodium chloride and has the potassium and the magnesium and all the other electrolytes in there for your heart to work well. Actually, the research shows that getting enough potassium and magnesium will prevent heart attack and stroke in the future. Actually, having unrefined salt is actually going to be much better for your health than following a low salt diet. So yeah, most people that are following the low sodium diet, they're getting the refined salt, which is just pure sodium chloride, which has been bleached. It has anti-caking agents and a lot of other chemicals on it. So the salt they're getting is actually bad for you. It's dead and it's not healthy at all. I don't recommend that type of salt. I recommend an unrefined salt that actually has the perfect balance of sodium, chloride, and all the other minerals that come along with it. Our body is about balance. If you get something out of balance, think bad things are going to happen. Our body wants to be in homeostasis all the time. So if you decrease your amount of minerals you're getting, you're going to have a problem. You decrease how much sodium chloride you have in your body, it's going to be a problem. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have to go pound the salt, eat tons of salt all the time. I'm saying you do need to get enough unrefined salt in your diet, though. And I don't recommend the refined salt at all because it's really not good for your health. I would put refined salt in the same category as refined sugar. Both of them are really bad for your health. So, what is a good amount for someone that wants to decrease their blood pressure? Now, this is going to be tailored to the patient. You need to go to a doctor that's actually educated on this and really knows what they're doing, especially if someone has really high blood pressure. So, someone that doesn't have high blood pressure, I usually recommend half a teaspoon per 4 cups of water. So, most people should be getting a teaspoon of unrefined salt a day. But if someone has high blood pressure, I start slow. I do half a teaspoon and I monitor them and have them do a journal on their hypertension. They record it, they get their own little blood pressure cuff at home, and we track it. And then we modify it from there. But most of the time, people are doing really great with the unrefined salt. Like I said, there are some people that are salt sensitive, and they're even going to respond poorly to the unrefined salt, but that's a very minute, small amount of people. What about those people that are eating a highly processed diet that's really high in this refined salt? I don't usually recommend that they just start taking a lot of unrefined salt at that point. They're just going to get way too much salt in their body, and we need to find balance there. First, I'm going to start working on their diet and improving the food that they eat and really decrease the processed foods. And at that point, that's when we're going to start supplementing them with unrefined salt. Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, visit my website, integrativemedica.com. Find my phone number there, call my receptionist, set up a visit with me or some of my other great doctors that are just as good as I am. Or you could also set up an appointment directly on our website. And obviously, we do Zoom calls. We do it HIPAA compliant. You could always talk to us virtually so you can see us from anywhere in the world. If you want to learn more about sodium and whether you are deficient, click my videos to the right. I'm Dr. Jake, and I'll see you there.